say about us as long as we are happy with ourselves. Hey, what you said, it was very touching. I don't know why, and it definitely went straight home, and I felt it because at some point, as I've said, at some point I was there and I didn't know how to get out until I started this podcast. Saw people that there are more people who are suffering from depression, from bipolar, for these types of many types of illnesses. So I believe that this conversation is what that will help people. Long ago, when I said to my friend that the more we create, the more we inspire people to tell their own stories, to be brave enough to seek help, to be able to make that first step, because all it takes that first step and to recovery, to healing, to everything. And I love that journey that you've been into so many doctors, you've been in so many rehabs, and you still didn't give up because you found your why. As someone who is listening now, don't be discouraged because you don't know where is your why. You don't know that today, through this conversation, this might could be your why, and keep on living. So I just wanna to touch on that. And also, what are some healthy coping mechanisms you've managed to your mental health?
Before I answer that, I just want to say that, I went to that suicidal part. It's, when you get into that mindset, it's super hard to get out. And that's where you tell yourself the world's biggest lie is that you're alone. Nobody understands you, that this world is better off without you. And I believe it's the world's biggest lie because this world is better off with you, that you were created on purpose, for purpose, whether you believe it or not. So if you are feeling that way, no, you are not alone. There are plenty of people, too many people that unfortunately feel this way, but it isn't the answer. So find your why. Hold on to hope and ask for help. But when it comes to your coping mechanisms, I started to do gratitude morning and night, finding the things that I was grateful for, no matter how bad of the day I was. And it could be anything. Like, I'm grateful for the air that I breathe. I'm grateful for a roof over my head, food on the table, people that love me. I started journaling my thoughts and my feelings, because getting your thoughts out of your head is half the battle. I started to work out more. And when I work out, I started listening to positive podcasts of guys like me and what they did to get better. I started listening to books and motivational speaking. There are a lot of things you can do for your mental health, eating properly, practicing meditation, exercise, releasing those happy chemicals, reward chemicals, and motivation chemicals you have in your body, like serotonin, dopamine, and endorphins. I started making sure that I kept up with my counseling, kept up with my medication, but just making sure that I talked about it. I have a couple good friends that I can talk to if I'm struggling, and find those accountability buddies that you can open up to, but we'll also tell you the truth when you need to hear it. There's always some things that we don't want to hear, but that we need to hear.
And it's funny that you mentioned the accountability part, because today actually I was having a conversation with a colleague in terms of going to therapy and not being able to talk your problems with your friends. And I feel like in that part, as your friends, as much as they might try to be nice to you, but if they can't tell you that, no, this thing that you are doing is wrong and we are seeing you suffering, you need to seek some help. And I feel like that's what friends made for. And I believe that through having that type of relationship with your friends, you're able to bring that, to build that trust of saying, no, I got you in terms of that. And also you spoke about journaling, get into journaling. What tips would you give them?
So like if I'm struggling, what kind of tips would I?
Yeah, in terms of journaling, you mentioned in journaling.
Journaling. So I like to think there's 3 things for journaling. You can write down what you did get done today and what you didn't. So you can do what you did tomorrow. You can write down what went well today and what didn't. So you can do more of what went well. And what you can also do is dissect and do a little discovery of why these things didn't go well, and then maybe change some of the things on how you approached it. Or what you can do is you can just brain dump, just grab a pen, grab a piece of paper, and scream at that piece of paper what you want to scream at the world. There's lots of things you can journal about. Journal about the things you're grateful for. Journal about your thoughts and your feelings. Journal about your goals. Journal about what you want to change in your life. What's going well and what's not going well, and why is it not going well. There's so many things you can do, but sometimes just brain dump. You can have a plan for your feelings out on a paper, and then you can read them over again. You'll be like, okay, well, this is how I really feel. Because sometimes when you're writing, you're like, okay, blah, 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 I'm writing. But then when you go back and you read through it, it's like, holy, well, I didn't expect that. But okay, well, maybe I should look into this.
And I would like to go back to recovery and also the power of transformation and support. Recovery is a journey, not a destination. I love the phrase because people have this perception of thinking that everything's a race. Everything you need to compete when it comes to these things. And I just want to touch on the importance of support system. What resources are available for those who are struggling, and how can listeners build strong support network?
How can you build a support network?
Yeah, a strong support network.
Well, there are plenty of resources out there. There are places like AA, Alcoholics Anonymous. There's NA, Narcotics Anonymous. There is Smart Recovery, which is recovery based, but it's not the 12 steps. It's based around 12 steps. There is rehab. There are rehab centers. There is addiction counseling. There are websites that you can look up on the internet that support mental health, that support substance misuse. But you also got to find someone that you trust, find someone that's going to tell you, I thought of this the other day, is find someone that's going to sit with you, support you, inspire you, and tell you the freaking truth, even if you want to hear it or not. You got to find those people that will walk the journey with you. Well, there's always one person that's willing to, even if that's someone from AA or NA or a support group. There are support groups around that aren't 12-step based. I didn't do a 12-step in either of the rehab centers I went to, but there are people around you that are going through what you're going through, and you can be able to find those groups online, but you can also find them locally if you go to one of the sit-in meetings or something like that. Find that, a friend that's going to take that journey with you, that's going to walk with you, and make sure you're open and honest with them.
What would you say to your younger self that was dealing with depression, that was dealing with addiction? What would you advise him?
You don't need substances to matter.